What is going on, people? TripleM back again with another video. It's daily dose of football content, and today I would like to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, I made a 60-second video earlier talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, but I don't think it does the entire situation justice. So for those of you who may not know, Cristiano Ronaldo did an interview with Piers Morgan. The full interview has not been released yet. However, Piers Morgan himself has released some quotes and some things about the interview publicly online, and it's generated a lot of conversation in the Manchester United fan base. So that's why I'm making this video, because I've listened to what a lot of other people have to say, both Ronaldo fans, both people who are anti-Ronaldo, and people who are somewhere in the middle. And I want to give my say and hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. I'm going to start with the positives. I'm going to start with what I agree with, so nobody accuses me of having some sort of weird agenda against Cristiano Ronaldo and picking the Glazers over, somebody who's clearly Glazers out, because I don't even understand that narrative. What Cristiano Ronaldo said about the ownership of the club regressing, the club not evolving, the club basically being the same, if not worse, since he left, is 100% spot on. You don't even need glasses. You don't even need to do any research. It's so obvious that Manchester United have moved backwards. If you don't want to look at the trophy count, fine. Look at the way we've played football and how we've regressed in terms of the standards. If you don't want to look at that, look at our training facilities. Go do some research on that. Look at our stadium. Look at the fact that there's literally a leak at Old Trafford. When it rains at Old Trafford, fans have to bring extra gear to make sure that they are not drenched when they go home, because even if they sit underneath the covers, the water seeps through. One of the biggest clubs in the world, by the way, and there's water leaking through the ceiling at Old Trafford. Mind-blowing, right? There's so many examples of things. There's so many photos on Twitter, videos taken by season ticket holders who go to Manchester United week in, week out, who've complained about the lack of maintenance, whether it's seats being broken or leaks in the ceiling or other things that actually are not acceptable. There is so much evidence to back up the fact that the Glazers and the people who run this club underneath the Glazers are not doing their jobs properly and sufficiently enough. Cool. No problem with that at all. My issue with what Cristiano Ronaldo had to say this morning is three things, really. One, it's the fact that people are reacting to this like he's the first player to ever talk about the Glazers publicly. People are pretending like this guy invented the green and gold scarf and green and gold shirt. Let me remind you, Louis van Gaal spoke about the Glazers after he left. He didn't speak about the Glazers directly, but we all knew who he was talking about. Jose Mourinho famously made comparisons to Manchester City in a press conference whilst being the Manchester United manager, mind you, and basically spoke about the history of the club and how it has regressed and who that's down to. And then he did many interviews years later, still bashing Manchester United, not in a malicious way, but more in a way of saying, I hope that people finally understand why I was mad. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he's done the same thing. Ex-players like Roy Keane, Gary Neville have sat on national and international television talking about the Glazers. So this is not unique. Cristiano Ronaldo hasn't, unlocked the matrix, right? He hasn't freaking defied the freaking dictatorship by saying these things. And I'm sick and tired of people acting like he has. And my real issue with it is this guy is well connected. He would have known the state of Manchester United before he joined. Maybe when he got there, it was a lot worse than he thought. I'll admit that. But there's no way he didn't know that the Glazers are bad owners. There's no ways he didn't know that the training facilities weren't great. There's no ways his management and his agent didn't have a contact within Manchester United or somebody who used to work for Manchester United in the recent past who couldn't have at least told him some of the stuff. And that's only the first issue I have with this. So that's not on Ronaldo. That's just people reacting to it. But these next two are about Ronaldo. The comments he made about Ranić are utterly disrespectful. And again, people will twist this and try to say, so are you calling Ronaldo a liar? It's not about truth or false. Even if Ronaldo is being truthful, even if the comments about Ranić are true, even if players did not understand what Ranić wanted from them, you don't say that publicly. You don't say that publicly. Imagine you worked for one of the biggest media companies in the world, in the corporate space, and a year after you left, all your employees started leaking to the public. And it's one of the biggest media companies in the world now. So you're getting DMs left, right, and center. You're getting embarrassed. You're getting embarrassing emails. Imagine one of your employees came out and said, hey, you know that TripleM guy? We didn't understand anything he said. Anything he said. We were laughing at him, stuff like that. You know how disrespectful that is. Now, Ronaldo didn't say anything about laughing at Ranić, and he wasn't disrespectful in the sense of, his tone was disrespectful or anything like that, but it's what he said. He didn't need to say it publicly. The second or third thing, that I have an issue with is his comments about Erik ten Hag. And those are even worse than Ralf Rangnick. Because at least Ralf Rangnick is gone. At least Ralf Rangnick has moved on to other things. So, it's not like he's going to disrupt the dressing room by making comments about Rangnick that probably other players in the dressing room agree with. But he said about Ten Hag that he's lost his respect for Erik ten Hag and he feels betrayed. Feels betrayed because the manager left him out of the team. You're a 37-year-old grown man and you can't handle being dropped from a football team. What? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So is a manager not allowed to manage? A manager, he's not allowed to drop you because you're Cristiano Ronaldo. So he's not allowed to. Oh, drop Phil Jones, drop Harry Maguire, drop Marcus Rashford, drop whoever you want. But as soon as you drop Cristiano Ronaldo, oh, that's blasphemy. That's blasphemy. That goes against folklore. You're not allowed to do that. What are you on about? How on earth is that disrespectful? Now, to be clear, maybe things did get lost in translation because, again, full interview hasn't been released. Maybe Ten Hag said something behind the scenes and that's what Cristiano Ronaldo was talking about and not necessarily being dropped. Maybe a heated discussion happened between Ten Hag and Cristiano Ronaldo. Maybe Erik ten Hag promised Cristiano Ronaldo game time and then didn't follow up on the promise. Maybe that's what's going on. I'll give Cristiano Ronaldo the benefit of the doubt in that case. But what did I say earlier in the video? It's not about true or false. Whether Ronaldo is being truthful or he is lying, that's irrelevant. Get that out of your mind as you watch this video. That's besides the point. The point is, why are you telling the public? What does that achieve, my guy? What does that achieve? Seriously, what does exposing Erik ten Hag achieve other than alienating yourself from the Manchester United fan base and ruining the purity of the message that you had? Cristiano Ronaldo started off the interview talking about the ownership, talking about the lack of standards. I was with him there. I was like, yeah, go on, talk about the Glazers. Yeah, expose them. Then you start talking about the manager. Why? Why are you talking about colleagues and employees? What do they have to do with it? And then you have these fanboys who live so far up Ronaldo's ass, they can see what he had for breakfast, talking about, well, if you side with Ten Hag, you're just a top red. Excuse me? So you're a top red if you support Erik ten Hag, the manager of Manchester United Football Club. What did he do to run the club into the ground? Ten Hag is not the Glazers. Marcus Rashford is not the Glazers. Bruno Fernandes is not the Glazers. Ralf Rangnick is not the Glazers. They have nothing to do with the club being in debt. They have nothing to do with the green and gold campaign. They have nothing to do with the cracks in the swimming pool at Carrington. They have nothing to do with the leaks in the stadium at Old Trafford. They have absolutely nothing to do with how poorly and abysmally the club is being run. So how is it that supporting those people over a diva who can't keep his mouth shut, a 37-year-old man who has such a fragile ego that he can't handle being dropped, and when his team is 2-0 up against Spurs, he decides it's a good idea to storm down the tunnel, even though he knows good and how well he's one of the most followed people on the planet, and every move gets scrutinized. Cristiano Ronaldo could fart by accident and people would make a big deal of it. And he knows it. It's not like he isn't aware of it. So for that man to do what he did, knowing good and how well how it's going to end up and how some people are going to perceive it, I'm sorry, I don't have any sympathy with him. And to all the Ronaldo fanboys saying, well, you're just a top red. I've been Glazers out for the longest of times. I haven't contributed to the club financially. You know how many times I've wanted to buy an official Manchester United shirt, and as expensive as they are, I would do it if we actually had proper owners. I wouldn't buy fake shirts, and I wouldn't promote buying fake shirts if we had proper owners. I genuinely would spend my hard-earned money on an official Manchester United top because I love the club that much, but I won't do it. Why? Because of the Glazers. I won't subscribe to MUTV. Why? Because of the Glazers. But if it wasn't for the Glazers, I would be doing all of that. So I boycott the club financially. I've made videos about the Glazers. I've been on spaces arguing with people relentlessly, people who have the combined IQ of a brick slab about the Glazers. I've done all of that. I've been emotionally invested and genuinely been in a bad mood for periods of time because of the Glazers. That's how much I love this football club. And for people to turn around and say, if you don't agree with everything Ronaldo says, then you're part of the problem. It's really disrespectful, man. And when it's a faceless account on Twitter, I don't care. But when it's people that I know, people that I've been to school with, people that I can actually say, yeah, I know who this person is. I know where they live. I could go visit them this weekend if I wanted to. That just don't compute, bro. How stupid can you be that you blindly side with someone just because he's your idol? I don't get that. By the way, tell me what he had for breakfast this morning since you live so far up his ass.